Welcome everyone back to Max Damage. I am your DM, Erica Blankenship. Joining with me today is Alexander Blankenship.
Playing Zack Stryker, the monk from another world.
Brittany Blankenship.
I play Roxanne Rosary, the humble farm girl on a quest to find the family she never knew.
Jonathan Cato.
And I am playing Orpheus Felden, an now orphaned and mourning human artificer who crossed the ocean between kingdoms and is searching for his destiny.
Tyler Swan.
I'm playing Lady Atria Trusong of Draystone Fields. She seeks the truth for what happened truly to her family.
And Samantha Etier.
Hi, I'm playing our name-changing chaotic neutral healer.
So last time, you guys had started off from the Draystone Fields, from Atria's hometown, and you got to the river where you had to take a different path because the bridge was about to fall to pieces. You ran into a giant frog. Atria almost died from the giant frog.
Yay!
But you guys managed to get past it, and you went on through the fields, and a few days later you came across a fog that was not normal, and you ran into a lot of Grimlocks. None of them hit you. However, they did hit the horse, but
The horse will remember that.
but Alexia spared the horse from dying, healed it, so it was happy. You guys are back on the road after your Grimlock battle. You had a nice night rest, so all your spells are filled up and everything. So you're going down the road. You're getting pretty close to Asteel. You're probably about a day to 2 days away, depending on how fast you guys go. It's pretty clear now. No fog in sight, so you're all safe there. And you're on the road. And as you're on the road, you hear and see an old man in a wagon, but he's like on the side of the wagon because the wagon's broken down. And when you get closer, you can tell that the wheel was broken. As you guys come up closer to the wagon, the old man calls you over. Hey, come help me, please. My wagon's wheel just broke down, and I'm old. I can't do much.
Orpheus immediately hops off the carriage we're on, the wagon we're on, and goes to assess the damage to the wheel. How broken is it?
Can I roll perception?
Real fast, as Orpheus jumps off, Zach's gonna grab his shoulder and be like, hold up, this is about as fishy as it gets.
I sort of subtly nod, and I keep going. As I approach, I would like to make an insight check.
Okay.
I'm also
While
right
he's
behind him
doing
with my
it.
chain around my fist.
While he's doing the inside check, I want to do my Divine Sense feature.
Okay. With Atria's Divine Sense feature, nothing happens, so you know it's not bad of that sort.
Should I roll my perception now?
Let John roll his insight.
I like how it's just the party encounters old man.
17.
The party is cautious.
So Orpheus is 17. Basically, you can tell it's just an old man. A normal human old man.
With no ulterior motives.
With no ulterior motives.
Right.
Yeah, and
he's just in trouble.
I glance at him. I'm kind of almost staring him down as I'm approaching, but I am approaching still. And then, having made my assessment silently, I kneel over the wheel. How broken is this wheel? Is it just like a simple snap?
Can I ask if we're still in the plains?
Well, we're still in fields, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my under surroundings.
The wheel is snapped in a couple places.
Okay, but none of the breakage is more than a foot across?
No.
All right. I said, fear not. Fixing things is my specialty. Sit back. This should only take a minute. I start casting the mending spell.
Oh, thank you, Sonny. I thought I was going to be here forever. I was already here for a few hours. I'm just transporting some food from one small town to another. And he looks around at your party, and he looks over at Alexia and is like, well, you look very familiar, lady. Have we met before?
No, I don't believe we have.
Are you sure? And he looks at you really closely, and he jumps back, and he's like, you're the one who sold me that terrible thing.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was a beautiful necklace, and it was supposed to be for my wife, but you took all my money that I had for it, and it disappeared when you left.
Who's closest to me?
Me and Orpheus are off the wagon, so.
I would have also jumped off the wagon.
Okay. Is there any type of cover nearby?
The wagon.
As I'm fixing, I jump in and say, how much did you pay?
While he's talking, I'm going to jump and hide behind the wagon.
I paid 35 gold coins. I saved up for something really amazing for my wife because she deserved it.
Okay, I'm going to change my mind real quick. I didn't jump off the wagon. I took out a blanket and covered myself. I'm going to use prestidigitation. You see an image of me running and ducking into the tall grass.
As soon as I'm done fixing the wheel, I sigh and stand up and do I see where Alexia went?
She just ran and ducked into the highway. Do you know
Yeah.
where she really went or where the Mirage went? Or not Mirage, what's it called?
Illusion?
Illusion, that's the word.
Minor illusion?
It's
Mhm.
prestidigitation.
I don't.
Alright,
I think
okay.
that can only handle a handheld.
Okay, then
item.
then you just hear the sound of footsteps running in that direction.
Okay.
As she runs off, though,
Ah.
like, Zach's just gonna just shake his head and be like, I don't know what she's running away from. It's an old man. And then he looks at the guy like, what is this guy gonna do?
In reality, I'm hidden under a blanket on the cart.
Zach doesn't care.
I'm
You're running from me.
What'd you say?
I said you're probably running from me.
No, I'm hiding under a blanket on the cart. You probably, if you haven't left the cart, you probably still see that I'm there.
I'm just shaking my head in disappointment.
Okay, so as soon as I hear all this going on, as soon as I'm done fixing the wheel, which is actually, it takes a couple of minutes because there's a couple of breaks. But mending's a cantrip, so that's fine. I sigh, I stand up, I say, I'm sorry to hear that happened to you. I'm not sure what I can, knowing her for as briefly as I have, I'm not sure what I can do about that, except I sort of pause, sigh, and I take out 10 of my 21 gold and the lyre that I have out of my backpack, and I say, it looks like it's this lyre is really it's nice, it's ornate, it's intricate. You could probably haggle it up to 35 gold. Its value is 30.
John, just quick tip. You probably don't want to waste your money right now.
My character is a good person. And an
Okay.
old man was swindled. And I'm not sure I could convince you to give any of that money back. So
I don't have that much money right now, man.
that's what I'm saying. I'm taking out a 30 gold very nice instrument that kind of has sentimental value, and 10 gold as well.
So as Orpheus starts pulling this stuff out, Zach's gonna go, this isn't your responsibility, Orpheus. This guy got swindled. It sucks, but that's life. He should have been more careful.
I give you a scathing glance and proceed to ignore you and continue doing what I do. I say, look, I apologize for my current allies. I don't know if this will make up for it, but please, if you will be willing to let the matter drop, this should get you your money back and then some.
The old man looks at it and then looks at you, and his eyes soften, and he says, "Oh, thank you so much. You're so kind. I guess I will let it slide this time, but keep an eye on her. There's a lot of people that just can't afford a lot."
I says, deal. As long as you make sure that whoever you sell that lyre to takes care of it.
I'll probably give it to my wife.
I'm
Excuse
sure
me,
she'll
sir.
love it. You hear me sort of kind of choking a little bit, and I take a deep breath. I am now 10 gold coins lighter and minus my lyre. Out of character, this is kind of really hard for me too, because this is a lyre that was technically part of the inheritance.
Excuse me, sir. How much for that liar?
But would you know
Like,
this?
Unless you have.
See him being physically upset by this, so yes.
Okay.
I look at Atria and says, "Please, I appreciate it. Let it rest."
The old man sees all this, and he turns to Atria, and he's like, "You can have it for 5 gold."
I tossed him 6, so I'm down to a nice even number again.
He's like, "Thank you. You also did fix my wheel, so I'm very grateful for you."
Oh, if you ever need any help, just remember the name Orpheus Felden, and if you ever bump into me again,
I will.
all right. Safe travels, friend.
He gets back on his wagon, salutes you guys goodbye, and he still kind of looks at the wagon with a little bit harder eyes, knowing that Alexia went that way. But he soon is out of your path.
I haven't left under the blanket, and
So,
I'm refusing to move out
Can
of
you
under
roll
it
a
till the man
stealth
comes.
check for me?
Me?
Yes.
Okay.
Just
I've
because
seen her go underneath that blanket.
you have, but we were talking to the guy.
While she does that, I put my hand on Orpheus' shoulder and say, "That was very kind of you. I can't say that I'd do the same."
I cannot.
You have no idea.
While I cannot control the tendencies of others, I know who I am at heart, and I feel I must seek to right whatever wrongs I encounter when I can.
That's very noble.
Turn my head back towards the cart. You know that I won't hide you from your sins, right?
You hear, sounds a bit muffled, probably because of the blanket and also the dirt, a bit deeper than normal. What sins are you talking about? I'm simply doing what I can to survive.
I sort of look at the curled up blanket and says, "While I do not feel that I could nor should curb your tendencies, I would at least encourage you to pick carefully your targets from now on, so as to minimize any suffering."
Are any of you going to do anything about me being in the blanket?
Nope.
I just hopped back in the cart and was ready to go.
You hop back in the cart and onto me.
Yeah, I thought about sitting on you.
No, I carefully maneuver around the bundled.
No,
blanket.
Xander doesn't know where I am.
I
Oh.
definitely did not care.
Okay, that's why I'm saying you probably jump onto me because you don't care.
Yeah, I figured I'd speak to wherever it was because she can't logically she couldn't have logically gotten very far, so I figured.
So we're on our way. I'm sitting on top of Alexia.
Do you do anything about that, Alexia? That he's sitting on top of you, or do you just let it happen?
He kind of shifts underneath and just says move.
Oh, whoops! And then again, it just shuffles over.
No, stay there. That's her punishment.
Her punishment is me sitting on her.
Well, she swindled somebody. I can do worse.
At this, they sit up, and blanket falls over as someone with a very annoyed look comes out. It turns out it wasn't the dust, and it was not the blanket that made their voice sound deeper. Who comes up is a very attractive young man with a soft white hair that's kind of flows around them as they move. The red markings around their eyes are now slightly more soft instead of being sharp.
Zach's like, but I hate this place.
No, that's not normal. You're writing a reaction there.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, that's different.
So, out of character, pretend I'm too sick and stupid to know what you meant to happen by that.
So
I'm a man now.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that an illusion, or was the woman the illusion?
Well, no.
Why don't you ask me?
Or are you a changeling?
Why don't you ask me?
Because that's rude.
Well, I'm not going to tell you out of character. You're going to have to ask me.
In character. Oh, when that happens, I do kind of shift away from you a little bit.
What's wrong? I'm the same person I've always been.
Remember, she has issues with magic.
This is simply part of me.
It looked pretty magical to me.
Think what you want.
Sort of pauses for a split second, and then shrugs.
So do you care to explain, or are you just gonna let it sit there?
Well, you can see I'm a changeling, can't you?
I haven't ran across one of you before.
Have to say, I haven't seen one either.
So do changelings just gender swap at will, or is it like a trigger thing?
It's more at will.
Oh, that's
Why does this form make you uncomfortable?
it makes like what?
Well,
Like,
this makes
what-
me better.
What is
Not
your
better.
preferred gender? Like where I come from, we have like preferred pronouns, but this is crazy.
Will this form suit better? At this, they turn into what seems to be. They turn into a androgynous figure that has their hair half up in a bun. When half up, I mean half up, I mean like half their head, the side of their head is up in a bun, the other side's down to about their shoulder.
This is more confusing. That doesn't help at all. But like, do you genetically change? Like, is it rude to ask? Like, does like your reproductive stuff change with you?
I could change that, yes.
But
Subtle.
so, what's like? Do you prefer? There's a lot of questions here I don't want to ask, but I want to ask.
At that question, I bust out into laughter.
I don't really care what I am. Call me whatever you want.
But like, say you had a partner, do you care what they are?
I'm not looking for a partner.
That's not what I asked.
Okay.
You're not gonna get the question. The question.
I'm
you
not
want
interested in a partner.
At this point, I say, okay, I think we can save these questions for later, or rather, swap them for more important questions.
I'm changing back to the male form because that's probably what's going to be better for town.
Zach spends the rest of the trip just looking confused. he just doesn't know.
They're kind of smirking at you. They like your confusion.
They like your confusion. You guys get back on the road, and you guys head to Asteel, and the rest of the trip's pretty calm. So about 2 more days passes, and in the middle of the day, you start to see the base. Well, you guys had started to see the mountains a while ago, but you've gotten closer, and you start to see the base of the mountain where the city is, and you see a really tall stone wall. There's watchtowers placed around the wall, and it's a pretty thick wall, and you can't see too much over it except for the parts of the city that houses and buildings have been embedded into the mountain. And as you guys come up to the doors, the road has been changing from dirt to stone, and there's some guards out there, and they say, "Halt! Who goes there?"
I just look at a tree and go, you got this?
Yeah, I got this. I am Lady Atria Truesong, seeking passage.
You can see the people are pretty short and stout, and they look at you, and you're extremely tall, so they have to look up pretty far. But they kind of look at each other, not 100% sure if they should let you in. They're like, "Lady, we know who you are. It's just we're kind of in a lockdown right now. I don't know if it's a good idea for you guys to come in."
Lockdown? What kind of lockdown?
Well, we have had a problem of a band of goblins have taken over our mines, and they are been spotted around a lot.
I'm going to come up to the guards as well. Can't you say that she's been sent to help you?
"Oh, have you, my lady?"
It'd be quite rude to deny her right now, wouldn't it?
Don't put words in my mouth.
You see, Our Lady is shy. She doesn't want to say what she came to do.
I am not shy.
They're like, "Oh, well, then in that case, Lady Truesong, we'd love to have you come in and talk to our king."
Yes, we can help.
Man, another king? You guys must be more important than I thought. Talking to a lot of kings.
Dwarves
It
have
ca-
lesser kings and higher kings. We just have the one.
Oh, so It's like Congress? That's how that works, right?
I have no idea what a Congress is.
Anyway, let us just move on and get inside.
They kind of
See what we
smile
can
at
do.
it, Tria.
Tria
With
is shaking your head at you.
And in return, perhaps in helping them, we may have help of our own, he says, looking pointedly at Atria.
I was going to help them as soon as they mentioned the problem. Someone didn't need to put words in my mouth.
I don't see how they would have let us in otherwise.
Well, considering your help was probably not fully truthful.
The girl's good at lying. Everybody's good at something.
Currently a man.
Yeah, he says that and does double like, he, I, them, they, I, what, that person. You're a person, right?
That would be rude.
They smirk and say, probably.
I hate this
You're
place.
confused with pronouns, just use the name, whichever one it is this time.
Is
Oh,
it
I do need to get a new name, don't I? This one won't work right now.
not mine, please?
I don't want any of your names.
So the doors open to a huge city with stone buildings, and you do see a lot of dwarves running around, some with some swords and others with armor. They're in a hurry, looking like they're trying to get somewhere. You guys are on the main road going straight, and in the back next to the mountain, embedded into the mountain, is the biggest building. It looks like a really big tower in the back of the city, and that is where you guys are heading right now.
Do we want to send someone off to go find an inn and get some lodging ready while the rest of us go meet the king?
Wait, if we're helping the king, wouldn't they provide us with something? He's kind of a king.
Not always.
We can always discuss with the king first. I might be able to convince him.
What,
You
are you
may
going to
need-
turn into a dwarf?
I can if you want me to.
That was a joke.
Would that be offensive, or would she then be one of them?
They don't have to see me do it.
Let's just go.
John's character is very uncomfortable with me right now.
It's less that I'm uncomfortable with you, is I'm trying to focus on how to mitigate whatever chaos you incur for us in the future.
But they think it's funny.
Orpheus,
Like-
now you're trying to be your keeper.
I can't change you, and I don't think it's my place to. But, and no, I'm not saying that as a character. I'm just saying, out of character, Orpheus can't change you, and he doesn't believe it's his place to. But he's a problem solver, or at least a problem preventer at heart. And so he's trying to think of all the ways that their antics could go wrong and how to potentially mitigate negative consequences for the party as a result. And it's frustrating him.
Orpheus' own personality has put him between a rock and a hard place.
Back in character, I ask them a question. So, when choosing a new name, does it have to be anyone you've met, or do you have a list?
I'd rather meet someone. Someone who really strikes that name in my soul, you know?
Do you take suggestions?
Perhaps.
There's this guy I knew back in Virion. Unfortunately, I haven't heard from him in a while. Or fortunately, depending on who you ask. He was kind of a pain. He was always in everyone's business. He was good at what he did. What he did was troubleshoot security, but he very rarely waited to ask. And so he's had to pay a lot of fines for breaking and entering.
Are you trying to imply something?
No,
Yes.
but I don't think I'd appreciate you taking on his looks, but if you need a name, why not Pritchard?
I'd like to see who else is around first.
Fair.
So you guys pull up to stairs that lead up to the towering tower. The tower that's towering over you.
The towering over you.
Tower that towers all over.
Yeah.
Please,
Over all
please have
towers.
its name be the Towering Tower.
The towering
Please
tower.
let it be named that. I want it to be named that.
The terrible towering tower.
Oh
I
my
thought I was
goodness.
using truth too much.
The towering tower, the towers over all towers.
Exactly. So you guys have to get out of the cart to go up the stairs, which it's a pretty good ways up.
Zach goes, is there of course there's not stairs it is.
If you're asking for a lift, there you probably don't have one.
Well, he stopped himself because he's learning.
If you said
He's like,
lift, I
you
would-
have a lift? There's lifts in this world?
You guys go up the stairs. It takes a minute or two. There's a lot of stairs. It's pretty high up. And the doors on the front are made of wood and stone and are about twice the size as a tria.
Great, big doors.
With no tact, Zach totally walks over and starts to open them.
A guard comes to stop you.
Oh, do you open it? Is that how we do this?
What is your business here? Because they still don't know. You guys just came in.
We didn't get led in by guards, like they weren't leading the way.
No?
Oh, we were. Atria, you do this.
I am Lady Atria Truesong. We're here to help with the goblin problem.
Oh, good lady. Okay. You may come in. And then they open the doors for you. And you are let in.
Please forgive my buffoon.
This guy's arms goes like, you're a buffoon.
Just mutters under his breath.
We understand it's so hard to find good help these days.
Oh, but he brings me such comedy.
Like that time you were starting to float down river because a giant frog knocked you out. Comedy gold.
Like you.
You guys are led into the tower, and there is a lot of stone columns of a hallway, and the ceiling is really tall. And so you guys walk through, and you go to another double doors. They let you into a throne room, which looks very different than the throne room of Lucaria. It's not as fancy decorated. It's more of stone with some animal pelts on the walls and is dimly lighted by torches on the walls. And you see a stoic man on the throne talking to someone with papers. The dwarf on the throne has a really massive beard with some gold intertwined into it. He has a big bear pelt on his back, and he is wearing some nice armor. When you guys come in, he looks up at you, and he knows of Lady Atria, and so he knows you. And he's like, "Ah, Lady Atria."
I bow respectfully and wait for him to initiate.
He looks at you, Atria, and he's like, "Stand, my good lady. Come over." And then he waves you over. He has a big gruffy voice. I can't do that.
Hear everybody to stay back and approach.
Zach stops the step that he was saying, like, oh, okay.
So, out of character, is the just for my imagination's sake, is the gruff voice like, "Stand, my lady," like a Reinhardt?
Yeah, that's Reinhardt.
We're talking to Reinhardt.
It's Reinhardt. Okay. He looks at you, Atria, and is like, "Has the king sent you to help us here?"
Well, we weren't really sent so much as stumbled.
Ah, I see. Well, we're glad for your help nonetheless. We've kind of short-handed right now. We had a party go out and escorted some people through the mountains. And then we had some other of our warriors out in the fields because there was another problem. So we're kind of short-manned here.
Well, we'd be more than willing to do this favor for you, though once this is done, we'll need a favor in return.
Of course, my lady. As
Go
long
ahead.
as it's within my power.
It should be more than within your power. We just merely seek passage across the mountain.
Oh, that's no problem at all. You'll just have to wait till the party's back from taking the last people across the mountains.
Well, in the meantime, tell me what plagues you.
A few moons ago, we had some goblins come down from the mountains, and the current mines we have been working in was overran by them. They took over, killed a few of our men, and they are very good at hiding in our tunnels, almost better than we are. So it's hard to get in there without getting in traps and setting them off.
Well, Well, I think we may have someone that can help with that issue and allow us to remove the goblin threat to you.
That would be great.
In the meantime, we will need a place to stay and prepare, and any information you can bring to us would be fantastic.
Well, we have a lovely inn just down the way, and Daenerys is a lovely woman. She would be happy to take you in.
Well, that is most wonderful news. Orpheus, is there anything else you can think of that we need?
Yes. Could you please recommend to us a store through which we may purchase or repair arms and armor?
The king looks over at you and is like, oh yes, we have the greatest blacksmith in town. He's over in the Iron Bear, and his name is Bangle.
Thank you, sire.
He just bows his head at you.
Like more of a nod or an actual
Oh, okay, yeah, he nods his head at you.
Yeah, I give a short bow as I say thank you, sire.
Well, in the meantime, your liege, will we go to the end? You can send someone to us whenever you feel.
Rightio, my good lady.
Ratio.
Slight cringe.
Is that the end of the meeting?
Yes, he waves at you guys to shoo.
Shoo shoo.
As more of his men come in with more paperwork for him to do and discuss.
As we are leaving, or I guess after the doors close, lean to Atria and say, I do not envy the man.
Then don't ever become a king.
I pull out my little golden snitch-like device. I record a message in it. Note to self. The throne is a shackle. Do not seek.
Wait, so you can just stumble into being a king is something you got to avoid? What?
No, Zach, you poor child.
Okay, so where are you guys heading first? Do you want to head to the inn or do you want to head to the smith?
I'm heading to the inn. I have no reason to go to the smith.
I will follow Atria to the inn just so I can know where it is, and then I will head over to the smith.
I want to go to the smith because I don't know. I just want to go.
I guess we kind of have an idea either way.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I would go to the smith first.
I'll go to the inn with Atria.
Atria and Roxanne take the horses and go to the inn. As you come up to the inn, you see a sign that has a spoon on it, and it's called the Rusty Spoon. And
All right.
The Rusty Spittoon?
no, Rusty Spoon.
The rusty spoon.
So you get closer and you notice that like the Rusty Spoon's also a tavern, and you see a dwarfen lady with red brown hair throwing another dwarf out, and then she's like, "Get you, varmint! I don't want to see you around here again. Sober up."
I went to the wrong place.
Wait, I thought you were with us. You're not there.
He is. That's why he's commenting on that.
Yeah, I want to talk to the southern dwarf.
Oh, I thought you were saying that you went the wrong place as far as the drunkard thing.
No, I think just Xander, the player character, or the player, is regretting his choice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So after seeing that, I wait for her to go back inside before going in.
When you guys get into the Rusty Spoon, you see there's a few dwarves drinking. There's a couple of rowdy ones in the back. You see the woman who had just thrown the guy out go behind the bar. And she looks up at you and she's like, "Well, we haven't had any visitors in a while."
King Delvin recommended you.
"Oh, well, isn't he a sweetheart? Well, come on in."
Well, I don't suppose you have rooms available.
"Oh, we have plenty of rooms. Like I said, we haven't had visitors in a while."
Well, how many rooms do you have available?
"Well, let's see. That one dwarf destroyed that one half of the building, so I guess now we have 5.
We'll take all of them.
"Oh, well, that's good for you. For one night stay, it's 1 gold. And if y'all need anything, just, come holler at me. My name's Daenerys. Oh.
She got some bread.
What?
She got some bread.
It's
Daenerys
not
bread.
Panera! Oh my gosh. She's like, just come find me if you have any trouble.
Will do, and I go ahead and set the 1 gold on the counter.
Thank you.
And
I say to
then
Daenerys.
and then she's like, you just go up those stairs in the back, and the rooms will be on your right and your left.
Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and start heading up to my room. I'm like, oh boy.
Okay, so now group
Okay.
number 2. What you guys?
I don't know what you expected from a dwarven king.
Oh wait, Brittany,
I
did you want to
don't
do
know
something?
either.
Oh, I was gonna say I'll stay down in the bar and have a drink.
How old is your character? Wait.
She is a 25. Let me go double check.
You're
I think
all
that's
in your
You
legal.
played like a
20s.
little girl last game you were in, so you
I-
can imagine her as like 12.
Oh,
I was a cat last game, so I was really little.
All the characters in this game are in their 20s.
Yeah, she's 25. I'm pretty sure she's legal. She's not getting drunk. She's just having one.
well, Roxanne, when you go sit down, you see some dwarves like looking at you because they haven't seen a half elf in a while.
I ignore them.
Okay, so the next group is going to the blacksmith over there at the Iron Bear, and it's an open workshop, so you can see right in as you go in. And the man Bangle is working on a sword as we speak, and he's a little bit shorter than some of the other dwarves, and he doesn't have as big of a beard. You can tell he's a lot younger than a lot of them.
I'm just looking around, man.
I'm also
Yeah,
just looking around.
I have no need for armor, but I'm just here.
I'm window shopping, as it were. What do I see? Anything jump out? How good the quality? How good's the quality?
Well, it's probably pretty good if he's recommended by the king.
And
Yeah,
he
I mean-
and like he's a
Any
dwarves
magic- any of it?
aren't dwarves known for making
Yep.
stuff? Yeah, so
Yeah.
he has nice stuff. Like
Yeah. Do I feel
Um,
any magic from any of it?
no, you can tell that there's no magic.
Okay.
Um, So Bangle quenches the sword he's working on, and when he pulls it out, he lays it down and goes up to you guys, and he says, "I haven't seen new faces in a while. You come to help us with the goblins?
Yes, sir.
Well, that'd be good. I've lost a lot of swords in this battle."
These are all very fine quality.
Well, thank you. I learned from my father. He was the best known to this kingdom.
Family-owned business, I take it.
Yes.
I ask, how many crossbow bolts do you have in stock?
Well, we lost a few days ago, and then let's see. Well, we're probably down to about 40, because I did
Okay.
make about 10 yesterday.
I'll buy 20 of them.
Okay, so let me go get them for you. And he goes over to the crossbow bolts and gets them for you and puts them in a bag. So he hands them to you
Yeah.
and takes your gold coin.
Yep. I now have 44 crossbow bolts in my bolt case.
Boy is
I'll buy the other
prepared.
20.
You'll buy the other 20?
Yeah.
Then he comes and gets the rest, and he's like, "Man, I'm gonna have to make some more."
I said, if you need an extra hand, I know how to smith. I can help you make more.
I couldn't ask you to do that, but that's mighty fine of you for thinking of me. What am I doing?
You're doing the southern accent again.
They're
They're
just
awesome.
southern dwarves.
They're southern dwarves. They come from the south.
I said, no, I insist.
Well, I insist that it's fine. As long as you guys get the goblins away, then we won't have as much of a problem. I've only been using so much because of the goblin problem we've been having.
Tell you what, any extra bolts I find while we're down there, I'll bring them right back to you.
Oh, well, that would be nice.
All right, then. Have a good day, sir.
You too.
I'm heading back towards the inn.
Zach was really quiet during that excursion.
The man who only punches people realized he didn't have much use for anything in there.
You didn't want
Yeah.
a knifey knife?
And thus the characters were
effective.
catches up with the player.
Nope. Literally what happened was Zach was in there looking around, listening to you guys talk, and he was like, I don't really know how to use any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And never
I'm gonna
even picked anything up.
They're gonna look towards Orpheus and said, if you keep being so nice, you're gonna run yourself dry.
I ain't old yet. I can still do stuff.
Age does not matter.
Well, hopefully it never will.
The world is like Zach walks over and goes, the world's a terrible and cruel place. It makes some people feel better trying to fight it, even if they can't.
I suppose you're right. Honestly, it's just foolishness at this point.
One's foolishness is another's fortune.
All that matters really is if he feels he's gaining any strength from it.
Yes, I suppose.
Money is not the only currency that matters.
I'm aware, but it's what the people seek the most.
For those who need it. I particularly don't, and so I figure I gain my currency. I gain other forms of currency.
Let me know how that works out.
So far, it's worked out splendidly. Plus, there's enough tragedy in the world without me drowning in my own. There's much more productive uses of my time and energy.
Yes, just be careful. If you're too kind, you'll see yourself being used and betrayed.
Believe me, I know the type, and I am ever vigilant. But, as an old wise man once said to me, it's not about beating the odds. It's about preparing so that it's about losing nothing when the odds beat you. So prepare in your word and deed. Make sure you are prepared to survive when you are inevitably betrayed. Operate on trust and prepare to lose nothing if your trust is misplaced.
Sounds like an awfully shallow trust.
Agreed.
It's nothing personal. Besides, I'd feel bad if I didn't at least attempt to help some people. And even if I do get used, it's not like I'm one to hold a grudge.
So you three are on your way back to the inn, the Rusty Spoon. And as you're going back, you see a elf carrying lots of papers, heading that way too. He stumbles on a rock, however, and falls, scattering his papers everywhere. And he's like, oh dear. He has glasses and long, light brown hair.
I'll stop and say, let me help you with that. And I start helping him to gather up all the papers again.
No, thank you.
No worries. Happy to help.
Oh, you're not a dwarf. You wouldn't by any chance be the adventurers come to help us with the goblins, are you?
Certainly.
Oh, well, I am Koval, and I am here to assist you. I am the king's secretary.
Out of character. Koval? What did you say his name is?
Yeah, Koval.
Koval. Well.
Guess who found a new name?
Well, it's nice. I glance over at our changeling friend, and then I glance back at Koval. It's nice to meet you, Koval.
No, that was out of character. Sorry.
Call it a gut instinct. I said, "Well, it's nice to meet you, Koval. I'm Orpheus Felden. That's Zach Stryker, and I pause, looking at the changeling last known as Alexia.
I just wave and don't say anything.
Pain flaring up from my chest stops me from saying anything further.
Koval looks at you guys and is like, it's nice to meet you. And then he bows, but when he bows, he loses his papers again.
Oh no.
This guy is hopeless.
I suck in my teeth, ignore the pain, and continue helping him.
Thank you.
They
No
kind
problem.
of sigh and help you as well. They're getting annoyed with this.
And he just keeps nodding at you and thanking you. And he's like, I'm here to help you.
Are you gonna help us fight?
Oh, no. And he pushes up his glasses. I don't fight.
I figured.
Are there any maps of the mine included in these papers?
Why, yes, there is.
That would be very useful for her mission.
I have maps and I have lots of descriptions about the terrain and and then he just goes on and on about all kinds of paperwork.
Zach rolls his eyes so hard he actually rolls his whole head and just starts walking back towards the end.
And I said, we're meeting with our other two companions at the inn. If you would follow us, I'll hold on As I'll hold on to the part of the stack I helped pick up until we get there.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. You guys go into the tavern under the inn, and you see a lot of about 3 dwarves over by Roxanne flirting with her. They have their cheeks are really red, so you can tell that they've been drinking for a while. And the one on Roxanne's right is like, "Well, hey there, dearie. You look pretty nice for a half elf." That's a southern one too.
Southern dwarves.
I kind of make an expression and go, am I supposed to take that as a compliment?
Well, of course you are. And he throws his mug of beer in a hurrah, and it splashes out.
I'm gonna come over and take Roxanne by the arm. I kind of just smile at the men. I'm sorry, but would you please leave my girlfriend alone?
Oh, sorry there. I didn't know that she had a man.
Thank you.
I don't put up any fight. I just go with her or him.
So where's Atria?
I say, oh, she went up to her room as soon as we got here.
Well, I assume we gotta talk about this whole thing with the mines.
Yes.
So,
Is someone gonna go get her?
so I'm going to go get her.
Okay.
Do you want to go upstairs where it's more private? And not around a bunch of drunk men?
I guess. All right. So everybody follow me then.
Oh, good, says the elf as he follows you guys up the stairs. Some beer splashes on Koval's shoe, and he looks in disgust at it and just flicks his foot so it gets off of it.
So we get to the room.
As you enter the room, you see Atreya is currently kneeling with her hands clasped in front of her.
I'm assuming in prayer.
That'd be a good assumption.
Oh, I think we're interrupting something.
No, you're fine. She gets out of the prayer stance and takes more of a seated stance.
So we all file into the room. So this nerdy guy's got some information for us.
Why, yes. He comes in and he trips again, makes the papers fall, and he's like, "I'm sorry." And then he takes up and tries to maneuver them.
There was nothing there. What did he trip on? This boy finds things to trip on.
I am no longer making any inclination of helping.
Since there's only a small desk in one of the corners of the room, he just starts to lay out the stuff on the floor anyway. And he pulls out lots of different maps of the tunnels. And he explains how, a lot of these... he explains that a lot of new tunnels have been added, and the goblins have taken up mostly in the newer ones, which is more of a problem because those have the materials they need. But there are some in some of the other ones that are not being used anymore. And as you look at these papers, you can tell that it's pretty big of an area. He does point out a couple of spots that has been more active with goblins. They've sent a couple of scouts just to scout out everything, and there is a bigger chamber near the back of the newer tunnel where they seem to mostly be.
So how many goblins are we talking about here?
He just pushes up his glasses and he stutters, trying to say that they don't know. The scouts that have come back, it seems like it's probably between 10 to 20, but they're still not 100% sure. And they think that there's someone in charge because they seem to be going to a specific spot, and they seem to all be doing the same thing. So it just seems like there's someone in charge.
Seems like they're following orders.
Yeah.
Well, at least we know there's a figurehead to deal with.
Well, we take care of the figurehead. The other ones should run. Goblins aren't known for their bravery.
Do we have any inclination what this figurehead may be? Is it another goblin or something more?
So he just looks at you and is like, we believe that it's a goblin. A king goblin of some sort.
I see.
Well, then, I mean...
Would you happen to know their location? Or at least general area?
No.
I mean, we follow where they're coming from. we kill enough of them, we're bound to find where they're at, where their main place is.
He says that there's too many tunnels that crisscross, and it's hard to pinpoint their main base. Even though, like he had said before, they think it may be in the bigger chamber.
We'll just have to prepare for the possibility of rerouting.
All right. Got anything else for us, nerd dude?
He just tells you how far away the opening of the mines is. There's a couple openings, and he points them out on maps and shows you which ones are still active and which ones are blockaded by avalanches or explosions that have happened.
All right, then I guess we know where we need to go tomorrow.
Yep.
Can you get home without tripping and killing yourself?
I should be able to.
He just doesn't even acknowledge that he's been insulted. He's like, yeah, okay.
He leaves the papers with you and walks out the door. But before he leaves completely, he does say if you guys need anything else, just send someone to get him, and he will be back to help.
All right, then I guess I'll head to my room. He says, getting up slowly and walking towards the door.
Hand me one of those 4. This one's mine.
Okay.
So as everyone's walking out, my character leans over to Samantha's character and goes in a very teasing voice, "So I didn't know you were into half elves, darling."
What can I say? I'm a man of many tastes.
She
don't
kind of
have
giggles. Huh?
Just don't have those tastes in my room, please.
She kind of giggles and goes, "Well, all right then," and proceeds to continue on her way to her room.
Great. I'll just take whatever's left. I don't care. I was talking about the rooms, by the way. Not the character.
I'm gathering up, while all the commentary is happening and shoveling out, I'm gathering up all the map pieces into a semi-sorted beginning to end maybe pile. I just remember which tunnels he says were the newest ones and which ones are the beginning entrance tunnels. And there's a vague in between that I don't really know, but I'm gonna try to form that into a more cohesive map on a separate, sheet of paper as we go.
So as usual, Orpheus is the only organized one making a plan.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that's my role, huh?
Yeah, it sure is.
You all wake up the next morning pretty well rested, except the dwarves in the bar got kind of rowdy last night. But as you guys or whoever goes down to the bar, you see it's pretty chilled out. There's some drunks sleeping on some tables. But for the most part, it's pretty calm, just a few people awake. And so last night Koval had also said that taking the horses wasn't a good idea.
I assumed as much.
Yeah. So you guys, in the maps he gave you, it was also a map of the city that led to the side entrance where it's going to be closer to the entrance of the mine. So you guys head that way and you go through the gate and you see some dwarves was nodding at you as you guys were leaving, happy for your help because they're still busy in the town as well. And so you guys go out and you head to the entrance of the mine. And when you get to the main entrance, it's really wide and pretty tall, and there is a nice stone archway for you guys that holds it up, and some columns on the outside as well, with brass bowls on top of the columns with fire in it. Thanks everyone for watching another episode of Max Damage. Join us next time to see what happens to our party as they go into the mines and fight off the goblin army.